progress. I would be able to take you into this room, and I could invite others to join me. And you could actually come in here, and we would have a private conversation. So we could close the door. We could say, these are the people invited. Anyone else, you can't get access. So it brings in the security role here. It brings in the authentication of the users that are going to come into that room. And in the virtual worlds today, that functionality does not exist. We can't go in there, so Sarah's meeting. The next would be an e-stage. This is a function, so we're going to go into the stage area. Let's go up the stairs here. And here we come into a stage. This allows us to basically have a large showing. Now you'll see it is not allowing me to go any further. Right? I can't be the star. They only have, you have to have security to go on stage and be the star. Because that means you can broadcast your voice and everybody has to listen to you. So I don't have the authentication level. So what that does, again, brings in more security into this environment. It allows you to invite larger groups of people. Maybe this is an open public forum. Allows you to have a forum. You can invite speakers here. Lenovo, they could actually invite their partners here. So this isn't just about Lenovo anymore. It's also about their partners. So let's exit out of the stage area. And we'll go back downstairs. And you'll see this e-portal. This is basically a site that's coming soon. It doesn't exist today. What this could be is a portal that connects Lenovo to some of its other partners. So Lenovo's like, this is a really interesting environment. I like this environment. But my plans are to create a community from this environment. I just don't want to sell laptops. Lenovo today gets 1,000 to 2,000 people a day at this site. During one of the recent conferences, they have 50,000 people at this site. Pretty significant. They also had their CEO and all the big wigs coming through there. So anybody could go there and talk to them and ask questions. That doesn't happen very often in forums. So the Lenovo Prime, who's in charge of this, their whole key, and I'm going to exit out here. So their plans for Lenovo use of this is to create a sustainable community. And this community is going to be one that they're going to extend to their partners, suppliers. So where that portal was, they're going to invite some of their key partners. Come here and put your own storefront there. I'm going to create a virtual mall. Let's expand this. I'm going to create a mall. And this mall is going to have all of my suppliers and customers. And they can pay me revenue, rent space. I'll charge them a little bit of dollars for some rent space here. And I'm going to start hosting events. I'm going to do movie throwaways. I'm going to screen movies here. I'm going to screen new releases of movies because I've got a partnership with Microsoft. I've got partnerships with other people that are involved in different trades, different industries. And I'm going to invite them here because I want to create a community of people that treat this site like something I'm going to go to every day. Not because I'm going to buy a PC. It's because I'm interested in what Microsoft is doing or Apple is doing or some of the other key suppliers or partners of Lenovo. So pretty soon they're going to rebrand this site not to be Lenovo, but it'll be some virtual mall that they do. That's where you take this from being a cost-cutting exercise. So Lenovo has originated this because this was going to be effective. I could get to a lot more people a lot cheaper. I can have one salesperson talk to 15 people. I can get consumer information that I could never get otherwise. And I'm going to take that consumer information and feedback back to my product developers. And I'm going to give them feedback of things that I'm hearing in this e-language. People that are buying or not buying my product. They did this from a cost-effective perspective. Now to look at different business models. Wow, I can invite my other business partners. I'm going to screen some movies here. I'm going to create a virtual mall. Then they're going to move this into the strategic phase. Well, this is naturally part of my business plan. I have to have this because I've generated a following now of 3,000 people per day that come to the site. This is today with 1,000 to 2,000 people a day. You imagine 5 years, once they build out this virtual mall, what they're going to actually be able to do. So this is just one example of how virtual worlds and the immersive internet will be becoming more mainstream as the way we work, the way we buy, the way we learn. It'll become as important to us as our daily jobs as our emails are today. Even though my 19-year-old nephew tells me emails are already old-fashioned. So with that, I'll conclude the discussion. If anybody would like to ask any more questions, it's a fantastic area. It's a new area. It's full of challenges to work through. It's not all perfect. There's a lot of challenges with content generation, with being able to make sure that you can really manipulate your avatar easy enough that you can see how easy it was just to pop into the environment, to move your avatar around. I really recommend going into the Lenovo e-lounge, and just play with it a little bit. Ignore the sales guys if you want to. But just, go in there, move around, get a view of it, and just recognize that that is only a very small step that Lenovo plans to take with the virtual environments. Okay, thanks everybody. Again, I'll open it up for any discussions, any questions. Andy?
Probably naive, but how do you, if this is wildly successful, how do you handle crowding? I mean, like 5,000 people show up in this visual space, what do they do to?
Well, the nice thing about the visual space is it's 24/7. So we're not talking about 5,000 people in an 8-hour window. We're talking about 5,000 people.
Well, I'm saying eventually, suppose 1,000 people show up in this virtual store.
Yeah,
At the same time, how do they handle? Because otherwise, you're not going to be able to virtually walk through it.
Scalability, right? Whether it is being able to allow 1,000 users onto this environment or the virtual physical space to hold 1,000 people. So scalability comes in a couple of different ways. So you can actually virtually increase the space of your store. You can have your sales guys, hey, I got to throw a few more sales guys in here. I've got a lot of people here. So
walk further across the
we do have flying, but we disabled flying for this. They didn't want people flying around. Well, it is funny. You can see some avatars, they're just right across the room because that's what they're doing. They're holding that W button.
Fire hazard.
But that'll be a challenge. I think it'll be more of a challenge in terms of the servers and being able to handle the volumes that hit it at one time. I think that'll be part of the key challenges.
What do end users need to have in their house in order
To do this. So that's one of the other reasons why this technology is going to become, I think, mainstream very, very soon. And that is you don't have to have high-end gaming PCs. Shall I show you the PC that I'm using? It's like a refurbished 5-year-old PC. So it's a basic Intel graphics card that you need, not very high-end, 1 gigabit of RAM. So most of your typical $300 PCs today will allow you to have a good experience in a virtual environment.
even on the audio?
Even on the audio. And of course, the nicer graphics card you have and the audio system that you put onto it, the better the experience. But you can still, even this was, projected, so with projection, it's up, I guess you can draw your conclusions about how, well you like that, how were the graphics and no sound. I think, Pete, you were in there. I should have stopped and said, hey,
Call me
Tim.
a salesperson.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, sorry. So he was the guy in the way, right? So you should have waved. By the way, you can
I
wave.
don't know.
You can nod your head. You can jump. You can clap.
Next time.
So we have a lot of basic, basic type of human movements in that environment.